It's crazy to think that there have been 7 mainline 2K wrestling games. I remember like it was yesterday when the news dropped that THQ had went bankrupt and 2K was becoming the publisher of the WWE series. And yo, what a different time it was. It was 2013. This was back when CM Punk was still in the WWE. This was when the streak was still alive. Miley Cyrus was tweaking. This was a time where people were actually excited that THQ was no longer involved in the WWE games. This was a time where 2K was looked at as this great, amazing publisher of the NBA series, which was getting better and better every single year and was about to reach its peak. So when the fans found out that 2K was indeed going to be taking over the WWE games, everyone just assumed it was going to be for the better. In 4 months, it's going to be 10 years since 2K officially got the WWE license, and as the wise NBA youngboy once said, the ups and downs that this series has had makes no sense. 2K's run with this series has somehow been filled with games that have made people depressed, games that are just flat out boring, yet at the same time, somehow they've also made games in the same series that were amazing and genuinely top tier wrestling games. So with 7 games in this series to date, some good, some bad, some so trash that you already know what's going to be the worst one on the list, let's go back and take a look at these games one last time as we rank the WWE 2K games from worst to best. Also, before we get started, 2K14 is not on this list. That was a game that was already in development before 2K even got the license. It was a game that was worked on by THQ employees under the 2K banner. Basically, 2K brought over the THQ team to 2K once the deal went through to basically finish the game that started, and by the time it was released, most people brought in from THQ were let go and 2K began development of 15. So I personally don't consider that a true 2K wrestling game. But with that aside, let's get straight into it. First up, the worst on the list, WWE 2K20. Was there ever really any doubt? This is going to be the last time I ever talk about this game on the channel, as everything I have to say has already been said about 2K20. This game does not get better with age. This game doesn't have a charm to it. There is absolutely nothing redeeming about this game. Yo, this is a game that came out in 2019 and looked like this. This is a game that is known for crashing more than a 4-year-old driving in GTA for the first time. There was and is simply nothing good about this game. 2K20 was released in a beyond broken state, a game that went viral for how broken it was, and even though things were fixed and patches were made, it was truly never fixed because it was so bad and so broken it was impossible to fix with patches. No amount of patches could have fixed the game modes being horrible, the gameplay itself just being boring and bland, and the game just looking like an abomination. Listen, it's 2K20, you already know what went down. No doubt the worst 2K wrestling game ever and one of the worst and most disappointing wrestling games ever. Now I know some people in the comments might be like, but Pav, I think 2K20 is underrated. I love 2K20. It never crashed for me. It never gave me herpes. I loved it. Listen, I like to get thrown off my roof sometimes, but that doesn't make it a good idea, and that doesn't make this an objectively good game. If you had fun playing this, respect, but there is no way anyone can ever convince me that this game isn't the worst 2K wrestling game. At the end of the day, this game was so bad it made 2K skip a year and not even release a 2K21. Any game that causes that has to be the worst one in the series. If it's not, at that point, just cancel the entire series. The worst 2K wrestling game, no doubt. Next up on the list, WWE 2K15. Before there ever was a 2K20, this was no doubt my worst and my least favorite 2K game. I hated this game for a long time. Even in my review, I went in on this game. This game left me sad, left me depressed, left me bamboozled, hoodwinked, catfished me. I was so excited for this game when it was coming out. I had just got my shiny new PS4. I was about to get a shiny new wrestling game for the PS4 with amazing graphics. And even though we definitely got the amazing graphics, we also got the slow, just sluggy, no content, modes missing, everything missing, sluggish piece of shit. But yo, I'm here to say, as time has went by, as the years have gone, and as I've actually had to go back and play this game for videos, you know, get capture footage for rebooking videos and stuff, the more time I've spent on it, the more my wounds have kind of healed a little bit. Alright, I'm gonna say it, this game is not that bad. What I'll say is this, unlike 2K20, at least this game does have a charm to it. At least there are some redeeming things about this game. The graphics are beautiful, the lighting and everything to this day makes the presentation so clean. And even though the gameplay overall sucks and it's slow and it's still on the bottom of the list and it is still the second worst wrestling game made by 2K, there were still some cool features. It was so satisfying playing this game and hitting a tired switch in music or a tired attitude adjustment. The roster was great, the unlockables, and of course it had an awesome showcase mode, and there was so much DLC in this game it didn't make any sense. Don't get me wrong, this game still sucks, okay? So many features were removed, so much shit is missing, the career mode is horrible, universes mode is mad, the gameplay, if you leave the stamina on, is slower than my dead grandma. But I don't know, it still has some good things going for it. It still has a little charm to it. Maybe it's just depressing nostalgia, I don't know, but I feel like I've been too hard on this game in the past. It's still the second worst 2K wrestling game, but as time has gone by, the more I've gone back and played it, I've learned to appreciate it slightly a bit more. It's like that ugly stepchild. After a few years, you kind of have no choice but to like it a little bit, right? But no doubt, still the second worst 2K wrestling game. Next on the list, we move on to WWE 2K17. So we are finally out of the games that can be considered truly bad. 2K17 is not a bad game, okay, but it's a very average middle of the road 2K wrestling game. This was a game where 2K really wanted to retry the simulation style once again, and it was fine. Universe mode was solid, the roster was elite featuring AJ Styles, you had some crazy realistic simulation gameplay, and you could have some really fun matches. But this game at the same time, I can never love it because it started all the restrictions in these games. This was the game that made it a mission to put someone on a table. This was a game where hitting someone with a ladder somehow wasn't satisfying anymore in a wrestling game. Now you couldn't place a ladder or a table anywhere you wanted. This was when the arcadeness of the game was truly ripped out. And for me, that was a huge blow. This game's career mode was not that good, okay? It was like every other career mode that came before this. It was just boring, it was bland, there was a total of like 30 minutes of cutscenes, and most of the time you were probably gonna get the same one over and over again. And how can we ever forget the legendary challenges in the career mode? How the fuck do I purposely get hit by a foreign object in a match? The best way to play this game was definitely universe mode and making your own fun. And listen, at the end of the day, it had a cool roster, the game wasn't broken, brawling was back in the crowd, you can go backstage, there were some really cool new moves, the creation was getting better and better, and it's definitely not a bad game, but it's not an amazing game either. It's just solid, it's average, it's just there. And the same could be said about the next game on the list, 2K18. Now you can easily swap these two games. 17 and 18 are very similar. 18 got a nice little touch up and the lighting was changed, the graphics were touched up, backstage was expanded, we got a carry system, career mode now had you doing free roam, but still it was just, it was fine. Like the graphics change was welcome, but I low-key do prefer the lighting of 17 over 18. I'm not gonna lie, for some reason it just looks so much sexier to me. But yeah, the gameplay additions were fun, it was more touched up and the career mode was better, but once again it was nothing special because they focused so much time on stuff like, oh, you can now free roam. Fam, nobody wants to free roam. No one wants to spend 10 minutes going across the arena to talk to some random jobber. Career mode was still lifeless, the game still felt limiting. Like it did improve on 2K17, no doubt, but it never really felt like, wow, a new WWE game. It was more like, oh, it's 2K17 with a 60GB patch. So is it better than 17? Yeah, in my opinion it is. And is it a bad game? No, but it's not an amazing game either. It's just decent once again. 17 and 18 are literally pick your poison. The best way I can describe these games are average. There's no identity to these games. Like even if you had fun playing these back in the day, I highly doubt that majority of people are ever gonna go back and play this again because they're just there, they're just average. They were definitely fine for the time because we're like, hey, at least it's not broken like 15, but as time goes on, these games just kind of get left behind. And that's what I think the lasting legacy is gonna be for these games. Just average games for the time. Next up, it's time for the top 3 games. And ladies and gentlemen, I present to you WWE 2K16. I love this game. For me, this game hits a sweet spot. Not because I played it a lot when it came out, because I honestly didn't, but because this was right after the horrible mess that was 15, and it was right before the simulation experiment part 2 of 17. And we got a game that was way faster than 15, but was still realistic, but at the same time allowed us to do all the crazy shit that we wouldn't be able to do in 17. It literally hits a sweet spot. The graphics are still the same beautiful 2K15 graphics. The roster culture is so good and so nostalgic. There's so many arenas and unlockables, and of course the Stone Cold Steve Austin showcase. I really do love this game. I forgot how good this was until I went back and played it for review, and after comparing this to 15, 17, and 18, this one just clears in my opinion. It was such a good mix of the charm of 15 with all the stuff that ruined it, and a mix of what 2K17 was going to be without the restrictions and kind of the dullness of that game. Universe mode was solid. You could do tournaments, you can do number 1 contenders matches, and yeah, career mode wasn't that good, but all the other pros just make this such a fun game in my opinion. This is a game that, unlike 17 and 18, does have an identity. It's a game that's something I feel people would want to go back and play even these days. It's a game that in my opinion is not average, and honestly it's a game that has aged very well and is a really good game. And after all things considered, I honestly think it's underrated. When it comes to all-time wrestling games, I think this is an underrated game. It isn't top tier, okay, I'm not saying it's all-time great tier, no, but it's still a very good wrestling game. Shout out to 2K16. But now the final two, and which one will it be? I feel like most people knew that it was going to come down to these two games, and honestly they are both very interchangeable and you can't go wrong with either or. Both are top tier wrestling games, no doubt. But in my opinion, the second best 2K wrestling game is 2K22. This was a fantastic wrestling game, okay? This game revived the series. If this game ended up being trash or anything even close to 2K20, the whole series would have died. We would have got a new publisher, a new everything. Who knows where we would have been right now. After taking a year off, we got an amazing, fun, and the best word I can use to describe it is a refreshing wrestling game. I'm gonna keep it short because you guys already know how I feel about this game. I love how it looks. I love the gameplay. I love the career mode. I can sit there and play these matches for hours. The creation is awesome. And this is no doubt a top tier wrestling game. The game does so many things well, and it definitely deserves to be in second place. But 2K19 is the best. 2K19 took the averageness of 17 and 18 and built upon the simulation experience so well that we finally got a simulation-based wrestling game that finally reached its potential. It finally achieved what 2K wanted to do with 15, 17, and 18 and kind of turned us non-believers into believers, and they finally perfected the simulation aspect. This is a game that is so deep with so much content, universe mode, creation modes, a great 8-hour story mode, a showcase, but what really carries this game is the gameplay. This game just got it right, okay? This game carried the WWE gaming scene for 3+ years. From 2018 until early 2022, this game carried. The longevity of this game is a testament to why this game is so special. 19 was just perfect for what it is. It converted me to the simulation style and made me appreciate it. Listen, I love 2K22, I really do. I love how it looks, I love how it plays, I love the gameplay style of it, because at the end of the day, I'm always gonna be leaning towards a arcadey game, but the thing is, 19 was just so perfect at simulation, it made me into a believer. I just feel that 2K19 was just slightly better than 2K22. It was such a fluid, fun, and satisfying game, and without a doubt, in my opinion, the best 2K wrestling game. It is close though, like I can't blame anyone for saying 2K22 is better. In a lot of areas it is, but as the total package, shout out to the homie Lex Luger, I think 2K19 wins. But yo, like I said before, 2K22 was that good that if they build on it, 2K23 could easily take the lead from 19. But I gotta go with 19 for this list. So there you have it, the 7 true 2K wrestling games ranked from best to worst. In my opinion, it goes 20, 15, 17, 16, 22, and 19. And if we were to count 14, okay, because I know some people do, I would put it honestly at number 1, to be honest. In the comments below, let me know your rankings. I'm actually very curious to see if anyone likes 16 as much as me, or if I'm just an idiot. And of course, I really want to see what the community thinks about 22 versus 19. Let me know down below. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. I just wanted to make a quick video looking back. It blows my mind, I still hate you Daniel Bryan, that it's going to be 10 years since 2K got the license. It's crazy. I wonder how the people who were all excited about 2K getting it back in 2013, I wonder how they feel now, almost 10 years later after all these games. But anyway, it's your boy Pav, aka Wrestling Gifts. Like, comment, subscribe, dislike it if you dislike it. It's all good in the hood. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you guys soon with more content coming soon. Till then, take it easy. I'll see you guys later. Bye guys.